What's up? Just want to do a quick rant real quick. So earlier today, I'm looking through videos on YouTube, and lately I've been on kind of a weird nostalgia thing. So I've been like looking at videos of like places where I used to live at. Like I'll look at this video from Philadelphia, and this guy films like the streets of Philadelphia, and it's like the streets look. Some of the streets like I think it's like North Philly area. But where they're going at is like it looks pretty much the same as it was the last time I was there back in the '90s. And crack was apparently was a big problem then, but apparently it still is because I'm seeing people like while they're filming, seeing these people just fucking tripping balls. After they own that shit. So yeah, and anyway, I found some same things, but for Hollywood. And there's this one guy. I forgot the channel, otherwise I'd link it. But it was fairly recent. It was just like a few months ago. He did a thing about the increase of homeless in Hollywood and everything, and how a lot of the homeless are moving from like off the boulevards onto the side streets and everything, which is understandable with what's going on. But this dude, his fucking commentary pissed me the fuck off. As a person who has both lived in Hollywood and been homeless in Hollywood, I might just like take this video and just like post as a comment on his video because it really, really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, he was basically stating that, everybody that was out there homeless was out there because they didn't want to work. I mean, at first he brought up the point about how fucking shitty the minimum wage is there is when, people were like, making about as much on unemployment, which actually at the time, probably like, during more the heavier part of the pandemic, you were probably getting a little extra on your unemployment, but that's not the case now. So, unemployment is usually a little bit less than what you were making. And the minimum wage everywhere sucks, but minimum wage in California, which unbelievable or not, that's the higher end. It's like $7-8, which is shit, honestly. But you think, oh well, these people would rather, live off of unemployment than go to work and get a job. I'm like, he's stating basically everybody's out there because they want to be, because they didn't want to work. What kind of Kim Kardashian bullshit are we on here? Let me tell you something. As a former Hollywood homeless person, do you know how many homeless people out there actually have jobs and work? And this was before pandemic. A lot of people, in case you couldn't really fucking comprehend why the homeless situation has gotten worse in Hollywood, it is a combination of two fucking factors. One, the pandemic. The pandemic fucked up a lot of things for a lot of people. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their incomes. So in the process, they lost their homes because landlords don't give a fuck, for one. Number two, here's the big one. Even without a pandemic thrown in the mix, rent is skyrocketed in Los Angeles. When I fucking left fucking Los Angeles, you couldn't find a little shitty fucking single apartment, one of those little efficiency studio apartments where it's basically a room with a bathroom and a space you use as a kitchen. You can get one of those for even close to less than $1,000 a month. something that used to be worth, like, back in the day, like, in, like, the 90s, and hell, even early 2000s. There were efficiencies because they were cheap. You know, they were like, you know, they were like under $500 a month, you know. Now they're charging like $1,000+ for that. Why? Because of location. Oh, yeah, we're charging you $1,000 for a fucking closet, but hey, you live in the heart of Studio City. Hey, you live only 3 blocks from the Metro Rail. Oh, you're near Hollywood Boulevard. Hey, this is a deal. I know it's $1,000 for a bread box seems like a lot, but you're living in the NoHo Arts District, so that's a great deal, guy. That's the fucking problem. Fucking realtors and fucking these fucking property management companies have lost their fucking minds. I mean, it's countrywide, but what? Los Angeles, California, period. New York, fucking, what I understand, Boston. These places are fucking expensive to live in. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like the rent's going up, the wages are staying the same, if not getting lower. You know, it's like, I'm surprised that anybody that's living out there now is still able to live out there. I'm surprised, and I commend you. If you're watching this, you're somebody I know, you still live in Hollywood, and you can afford to live in Hollywood, afford to live in Los Angeles. Hats off to you. I'm glad, and I hope you don't lose your job or anything. You don't end up in a position like I was. But I have to do another more extensive video about my time being homeless in Los Angeles, because I haven't done a Mr. Black's True Hollywood Tales in a while. It's about time. I'll probably be doing that. Probably film that tonight, actually, thinking about it. But yeah, watching this video, and then there was another lady that posted the video. I guess she was waiting for her husband, and she makes these vlogs with these very crappy intros that seem like she's doing like low budget makeup tutorials, but not. You know, and then she's talking about, like, she was over like on Bronson, and she's like, oh, it's so dangerous around all these homeless people. There's a homeless person behind me right now. Oh, so dangerous. And I'm like, bitch. You really, I mean, the homeless, yes, there's a lot of fucking homeless thugs out there and shit. But you know what? Honestly, you're in danger by more than by somebody just trying to get some fucking sleep in their fucking car, honey. You know, there's fucking dudes that have houses. Dangerous as fuck out there. You know, they have jobs and an income. They're probably a lot more dangerous than that person that's fucking sleeping in a tent around fucking Bronson right off of fucking Hollywood. Oh, just these fucking people. You could tell, you could smell the privilege off these people. The way they speak about when they speak about homeless people. It's like, my God, you've never had to struggle a day in your fucking life, have you? What the fuck? They're homeless because they want to be. Oh, they're homeless because they don't want to get off their ass to get the job and get to the work. Shut the... Sorry, I just had to rant about that minute because this has been... It's actually been a couple hours since I watched this video, and I've actually been running errands. And I am still fuming over it. You know? You know, this isn't a matter of like, oh, well, you're going to go on the internet, you're going to find something to be offended with. It's not about that. It's the fact that I have been on that side of shit. I know people that's been on the side of shit. I know people that are still on that side of shit. I do. Not just in LA and all over the place. Indianapolis has got a pretty bad homeless problem too. It really does. That's the different video. That's gonna be for another thing. But not everyone is out here because they want to be. Not everyone, is homeless because, like, I mean, granted, there are people that do. I have an ex. She chooses to be homeless for some reason. She's always done that. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. But things like that are like a rare exception. Not the good majority of people out here are not out here because they want to be. Oh, one more thing about that fucking video. I hope he sees this too, because it really annoyed me. There was a homeless camp like on one of the side streets on Selma off of Hollywood. And there's always been a lot of homeless people down there on Selma anyway, because on certain days or certain nights of the week, there's a church that gives food out to the homeless. And so it's inevitable that, homeless people migrate to stay down there because it's closer to that. And also it's off the boulevard where they get harassed less by the pigs. But there happened to be a Mercedes parked there. Now, anyone that lives in Hollywood knows you're probably going to find a Mercedes or something parked on a side street somewhere. Why? Because sometimes it's the only place you can find fucking parking. Parking is fucking insane out there. Sometimes you can pay to park, and sometimes you can't because sometimes it's full. So you're lucky if you park somewhere. You had to, if you're going to, like, let's say you're going to the mall up in Hollywood Highland, or even somewhere further off or something. Something like way down the boulevard, somewhere in that area. The only place you can find to park sometimes, maybe if you're lucky, like on Selma, or you have to go up on Franklin. Okay, so there's a Mercedes parked down there, clearly, because they couldn't find a parking spot anywhere else. They had a text as I was like, hey, there's a Mercedes parked in front of a tent. So, my dude here is insinuating that the person living in the tent owns a Mercedes. Okay. For one, being someone who's homeless and had a vehicle, if I had a vehicle, I would not be in a fucking tent. I would not be out in the elements. I mean, still in the elements, but you're less in the elements in your car. I lived in my car for a while. That Solara, as I mentioned in the last video, was my home for a little bit before I moved to Indianapolis. Not that long ago. Ain't nobody going to be living in a tent with their Mercedes parked out front, because are there homeless people that have a Mercedes? I'm sure there probably are. Because sometimes that's one of the few possessions you have left. It doesn't mean you're like actually a rich person trying to scam people. A lot of people, like, especially during the pandemic, they lost everything. They lost their houses, everything. And sometimes they had like a Mercedes Benz that they had paid off. And this Mercedes that they passed by wasn't really like, it wasn't like the brand new, top of the line Mercedes anyway. It was probably about the same age as my car right now. It's probably like, early 2000s for all I know. I don't know much about Mercedes, and I really don't care because I'm not a Mercedes fan anyway. But my point is, this was him insinuating that is ridiculous, and it goes up there with people. It goes right up there with that whole thing of people thinking people panhandling. Oh, he's probably got a car parked around the corner. It's like, because of that fucking urban myth. I think there was an incident that did happen one time. But of course, that one time it happens fucked it up for every single fucking poor and homeless person that's out there panhandling. Because they're like, oh, he's got more money than me. Shut the fuck up. I'm done ranting. I'm gonna stop now because this video is gonna just turn to me. It's turned to me just doing a bunch of like screaming at the fucking camera. I just wanted to rant on that for a second. Let's have a discussion about it. You know, I'm trying to get more discussion on these videos anyway, and posting videos like this, I feel is a good way for us to have discussions about this. So, comment below. You know, I mean, if you watch us on YouTube, let's really start a conversation on this. If you happen to see this video on Facebook, start a conversation there too. You know, let's talk about this. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think should be done about this? You know, what's it like where you live at for the homeless? Is it like Los Angeles, or do you not? Maybe it's like live in one of those places where you don't have homeless. You know, and do we get into the conversation about how people make it illegal to be poor and homeless? Another video guy, not a condescending guy. This guy was actually gave a shit, and he does these videos where he interviews homeless people and everything. It's very interesting. I'll have to find a link and leave it in the description below too, because I actually like his videos. Subscribe to his channel. You know, good channel. But he was interviewing this one guy. This was like back in January, I guess. Caltrans, for those of you who are not in California, don't know what Caltrans is. Caltrans is the people that run around cleaning the side of the highways. Caltrans is not always good at that job because they're just kind of just lapdogs for the fucking LAPD, you know, really. You know, they want to just go and just fucking harass homeless people, you know. You know, they come, grab their stuff, throw it in a fucking wood chipper or, you know, some sort of trash receptacle type vehicle or whatever. You know, to take all these homeless people's possessions and just displace them. You know, this has been a thing forever. I have thoughts on that. That's, once again, I don't have enough time in this video for that. But they apparently harassed this guy. This guy was self-quarantining in his tent, mind you, because he's homeless. He had COVID. He's self-quarantining in a fucking tent. And they practically drug his ass out of there to make him fucking sleep on a fucking street. Because they were going to clean the side of the highway, which they never did. They just... yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end it right now because this is going to be a really long video if I don't. I'm going to post more videos the next few days. Birthday's coming up, so you know I'm going to be ranting about that because I'm still whining about getting old. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let's have a discussion below. Let's really get into this. Come on, guys. Let's talk about this. And I'll see you guys later. Or you'll see me later, rather. Bye.